आपका धर्म, आपका स्टेशन, टीवी जागृति।
Sitaram, and welcome back to the program Conversations. I'm your host Vishala. Ganesh, let's get into our first interview this morning and say Sitaram, good morning and welcome to Pandit Shiva J Maharaj.
Sitaram, Vishala, and it's a pleasure to actually join you on set.
Yes.
Normally, when I'm here in Jaagriti, you're in and out for news.
That's
we
true.
cross paths.
And you're with Pandit Harish. Yes, of course. And
different capacity here this
morning. Thanks, you took the words right out of my mouth. Of course, we are talking digital literacy this morning. Yeah, so that's a bit different. And tell us about that. What is digital literacy?
What is digital? So to really understand the digital literacy, actually I brought some videos along. Awesome. So viewers, they can see and hear exactly what digital literacy is defined as. So I guess that's technical team. We can start with digital literacy, which a video which gives us a little definition. Of course, if you think of the two words, or the literacy part of it, eventually, is that, from the caveman days, we had to learn to read and write.
Yes.
And that is what you needed. Those who can read and write proficiently, they tend to be more successful.
Yes.
Right, generally speaking. Of course, we do have the exceptions. But likewise, in the digital world, which we can't hide. We can't say this thing
you can't hide from
that
the
we
technology
are
in
this. Yes, it's every day. So we have to know how to cope in the digital world, and it's not just about using the technology, but it's using the technology responsibly.
I agree.
And that's one of the major things.
All right. So digital literacy is important, right? Now you made a point that young persons or people in general are misusing technology, right?
Yeah.
In what ways are we misusing technology?
Right. So if we look at the youths and social media especially, we can see the mass misuse, especially among the young people, teenagers, and even from a young age we have children, being babysit by the tablets and so forth, the smartphones, and they're not doing anything really constructive. They're just entertaining themselves. So we have looked at a broad curriculum across the international standards. Many people will remember me as the DigitalGuru here on radio and TV Jaagriti, where we had that weekly program. We're just looking for a time slot right now, actually, to bring back the DigitalGuru. Yeah, but in that program, we highlighted, so many ways that people get themselves in trouble. And it's not really a part, it's just that they don't know, and nobody's teaching them. There's nothing out there that teaches someone how to use it responsibly and really be competent. You see, my master's, I did my thesis in competency. And competency is a mix of knowledge, skill, and attitude. So most kids especially, or most users of technology, they have skills. So they can use the technology, they have the skill to use it. They have little knowledge of what they're doing. And they definitely don't have the correct attitude to use it in a proper manner.
Right. I think it's more a form of escape.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you go on YouTube and you watch YouTube, you drown in YouTube and then all of the social media. But just to backtrack a bit, right? We wanted to really define digital literacy. So let's do that for our viewers and our listeners. I believe we do have that video ready for you.
Digital literacy is a term you may have heard more and more about over the past few years. But what does it mean and why is it important? We increasingly communicate and access information through a variety of digital environments. Our workplaces, social lives, and educational settings all require some form of competence in digital literacy. Digital literacy isn't just about knowing how to use technology, it's about navigating and communicating through different digital environments. You need a certain level of digital literacy to turn a computer on, for example, but require different skills to locate and complete an online job application. The extent in which you participate in different aspects of the digital world is often shaped by your personal need for the information and the opportunities that it provides. Some people rely on social media sites to keep up to date with their friends and arrange their social calendars, whereas others don't engage with it at all. However, there are some areas where having the appropriate skills are extremely important to succeed in the modern world. 90% of new graduate jobs require high-level information and communication technology, or ICT skills. The jobs market is very competitive and changeable, and having the right digital literacy skills is essential to employability. This directly impacts the world of education. Students need to have digital literacy skills alongside their qualifications to help them become employable when they graduate. There are also so many new ways to learn. As well as searching through physical texts, you can now access information and research instantly via the web. Video, audio and images can be used for teaching and for student assignments. Assessed work is increasingly submitted electronically and feedback given online. Communicating and collaborating on content can be facilitated through a variety of online platforms. With all these new opportunities come new requirements and responsibilities for everybody. We need to understand how to evaluate and look at the authenticity and validity of the wealth of information available to us. There are aspects of being safe online, understanding our online identity, and being aware of the etiquette of online communication. Digital literacy skills will get more necessary as technology develops, particularly as cultures, languages, and different modes of communication overlap and intersect. We all need to be prepared to understand and embrace this new digital landscape and be confident and competent in guiding our future generations through it.
Alright, and in the end of the video there we heard, we have to be prepared to understand, the new digital landscape.
Exactly.
And I like the infographic. I like, how they simplified things for us.
That's why I chose it actually.
Yeah, what digital literacy is. But what does the digital landscape look like in Trinidad and Tobago? Because we are still classified as developing. And so we're not at maybe first world status as in the United States of America or much of Europe.
Developed.
So what does that look like for Trinidad and Tobago? Where have we reached?
Well, and belated independence greetings to all our viewers on TV, because yesterday we celebrated 55 years of independence.
Right.
Being independent meant that we had to see about our own economy, our own
affairs
as it were. And if we have looked at what has happened recently in our dependency on oil, we saw that fluctuation in the price of oil and gas really put us in a
kind of bind,
yes. So which with many people have been speaking about diversification.
That's true.
So in context of that, in our socio-economic status as a country and diversification, we have to, everyone will speak, all the experts, I'm not an expert in that field, but all the experts will talk about the knowledge-based society. And of course, in this digital age, you cannot have a knowledge-based society unless they are competent, as we spoke about before, in the skills that you need for the digital landscape out there. Because many jobs, you can think of almost any job, unless it's really just a labor-based job. Every other job, there's some sort of integration, especially with apps and mobile phones now, where that is taken over, changing the landscape tremendously around the world. So to prepare ourselves, what are we doing?
What
are we doing? The school systems, I am a teacher in a primary school. I liaise with many secondary schools. I'm a lecturer at the university. And a basic question is, define the internet when I teach my master's class. At the university, they can't even define what the internet is. Actually, we had our WizKid boot camp started during this vacation here. And now our 6-year-olds can define what the internet is. So we are trying to make that difference, to really create that digital citizen, that true digital trainee, I call them, that true digital trainee that can work on a worldwide. Because we're not only preparing ourselves for the jobs here in Trinidad, we are preparing ourselves to be global citizens. Right? And these skills, this digital literacy skill, and even more important, because now we're actually focusing more on the digital citizenship part of it. Because the digital citizenship part of it, imagine if anybody is to be a good citizen of any nation, they have rules to follow, and as long as you follow the rules, you have a nice society where everybody is, friends with one another, they assist each other, and they build each other, they support each other. And in the online landscape, where the citizenship is much larger because it's global, we do have rules as well. But as we said, nothing is being done. It's not being taught in the school system.
How to properly interface.
So it's been many years I've been doing research. And well, you all remember here a few years ago we launched here on DigitalGuru the UK-based curriculum, which taught us more about that actual use.
Right.
And now we're focusing more with an American-based curriculum, a cross-curricular curriculum, which teaches us more about digital citizenship. So I think the team has the second video up, which will tell us a little more what digital citizenship. And then
I'll have that explained.
Then I can speak more about the program that we offer.
Let's take a look.
The Cyberwise Guide to Digital Citizenship. So what is digital citizenship? Well, we believe it is the essential first step to becoming media literate in the 21st century. Just like driver's education prepares kids to get behind the wheel of a car, digital citizenship prepares them to navigate the information superhighway confidently and safely. And this is important because the media environment our kids are growing up in is new and different from anything any of us have ever experienced before, with the rules of the road literally being written as we speak. And while membership to this global community offers tremendous opportunity, it is also fraught with possible peril, underscoring the necessity of digital literacy for students and their parents. Many experts agree that the road to digital literacy starts here. Dr. Jason Oler writes that we all need to develop an ethical core that can guide us in this unfamiliar territory. Author Daniel Prensky believes that installing ethical behavior ought to be our #1 concern. And even the U.S. Department of Education states that students must be active, creative, knowledgeable, and ethical participants of this network society. But here's the problem. Few young people actually engage in ethical thinking when they're online. In fact, according to Dr. Henry Jenkins, what we have is an ethics challenge. Fortunately, researchers at Harvard, led by this man, have been doing a lot of thinking about ethical thinking.
We began to think about the new digital media. One of the questions we ask is, what does it mean to be ethical in the new digital media? And that's not a question which, as far as we know, has been asked very much. So our project, called Good Play, is to look at 5 ethical issues. Sense of identity, sense of privacy, sense of ownership, authorship, trustworthiness and credibility, and what it means to participate in a community.
Our culture. Like learning how to read and write, learning digital citizenship prepares students to fully participate in a digital world that's here to stay. So rather than shielding students from an environment that offers so many opportunities for learning, let's prepare them. Because the best internet filter in the world is the one right between their ears.
And that's the truth, right?
That's the truth.
So it really talks about one word that jumped out at me: ethics.
Ethics,
Yeah,
yes.
and I guess with the advancement, not I guess, it is a reality, with the advancement of technology, you know, it really pushes the limits.
And there are a lot of new things that we never had to deal with. Or there may be similar things like, let's say, bullying.
Yes.
That could have been contained within a physical. Now when you go on the internet, it's on a much larger scale. Much larger scale.
New terms have emerged,
New
like
terms,
cyberbullying, and now because of that, there are other terms called cybersecurity.
Cybersecurity is a very big thing, and you know, we also have programs for companies to keep their information safe in the cyber world. But we really want to change the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, and by extension the Caribbean, in becoming that digital citizen that can take us into the further than the 21st century. So this is why we have started our pilot program during the vacation with some kids, and we started the Common Sense curriculum, which is an international curriculum here in Trinidad and Tobago. I've been doing a lot of research on it. It's used in Africa, in the UK, in America, around the world. It's very global. And they take all those things that we just heard about there, and we put it in a very attractive package, a curriculum with all the resources that the kids need to really get them excited. And we have some pictures from the last camp that I'll ask the guys, technical team, to put up. Yeah, so you can see the fun that these kids were having. So, you know, so we had class sessions where they had discussions and so forth. They saw different videos on all the cyber ethics that we were speaking about, this digital citizenship. And you can see the fun that they were having. Then they actually had their individual times on the computers where they did their own work. And some of the stuff we spoke about and that we do during this is like creative and copyright, teaching them that their work is their work. So there you see them being very proud of their work and signing their name on their work, and knowing that their work is owned by them. And everything that you do on the internet, even if you're borrowing from someone else, you should acknowledge or cite,
or credit,
your sources, which is very important in media, as you will know. Here we see them playing a digital footprint game where they were following the digital footprints of two animals, an elephant and a mouse, and they were looking at whose digital footprint is bigger and who is really safe in terms of the information, their private information out on the internet. And as these terms are things nobody will teach your children.
Right.
So definitely we're trying to make the difference here. We see them being creative and writing a story, drawing their own pictures, and those skills you don't have the opportunity sometimes because we don't even have the technology in some schools. So here we have a fully equipped technological lab where the children get to explore and use as simple as keyboarding and mousing. Children don't have those skills because with tablets,
you
it's just swipe, yes, just fingers and swipe.
Oh, that's
so to use a mouse, it's difficult. But when they
new
go
to
into the
them.
workplace,
Yes.
you have to use the mouse and you have to use the
there's no
keyboard.
tablet.
There's no tablet in the workplace
Right.
yet, of course.
Well,
but
yes, of course.
but so these are skills that children don't really have because they don't have the opportunity. Most parents don't have desktops in their homes anymore. So here we see the kids learning to draw and manipulate the mouse and type their own stories. And I have seen, and parents have told me, they see the difference in the activities that the children do at home. Because the same websites and the same programs, I only use free programs, right? They are exposed to, they go home and they're so excited to have their parents download it and use it at home. So now they're not just looking at YouTube videos.
Right.
Now they are really doing constructive things that will enhance their higher level thinking. Right, so because what problems we have in the school system right now is that children are so spoon-fed sometimes that they think at a literal level, we say in the education business. They're very literal. If that says ABC, that's ABC is all they see. They can't think between the lines and like literature and see the poetry and the meaning behind it. So they actually develop those skills here where they have that whole creativity of themselves. They express themselves in so many different ways because the technology really gives them ways to express themselves and be kids.
Okay, great. That's wonderful, and I really
Here they were reading
did not
stories,
think about
yeah.
that before, about young persons, because we have digital natives,
Yeah.
and they would be digital natives because they're born into the technological era.
yeah.
But then there are those of us who are older, who are termed as like digital immigrants, who now have to
And interestingly,
assimilate.
you mentioned that because with our program from before, and actually this program is actually applicable to, we had a lot of grandparents. When I was on
Right.
DigitalGuru here, we had a lot of grandparents signing up to do these courses because they were the
Yeah,
immigrants.
they wanna learn
they want to
about
be on
technology
par when the
too.
kids come
Exactly.
over, We had assessments. I was going to tell you one of the things that they did was they learned to deal with different media, digital media, with the audio files. They read stories with expression.
Nice.
And I made them record it and they heard themselves.
Oh, excellent.
And so, just in terms of presenting how their voices should throw, and you had little shy ones, using the technology now and hearing them say, hey, I'm not singing good. I want to do it over, So you get them to break out of their shells.
Good.
So it really, this one they're having fun on the floor, they're setting, actually we had a movie day where they're dressed in their pajamas, as you can see.
Oh, I'm seeing.
They're dressed in their
yes.
pajamas, they're putting their portfotfolios, all those things you see scattered there, all that's work that we covered within that short 3-week period. All that is work that they covered. They have their worksheets, they have their assessments. Everything is really nicely done with this curriculum that we introduced to Trinidad and Tobago.
Good.
So we really want to continue it going into this September.
Yeah,
So,
let's talk about
yes,
it.
yeah.
Let's talk about the Whiz Kids 2017 boot camp.
It will be one class, a 2 to 3 hour class, once a week. maybe a Saturday or Sunday, depending. Well, actually, we have it set for a Saturday right now. We set it for around 1 p.m. so it doesn't humbug if they do any lessons or anything.
Right, it's not going to clash
Morning
with
period,
that.
they try not to clash. We also have our continuing class that might be on a Sunday, right? So we're going to take newcomers as well as we have our classes continue. This curriculum that we have, that we do, this goes straight until university level.
Okay, great.
Right? So we take them term by term by term. And it's really, really, you can see, there's a lot to gain.
Yeah, it sounds very interactive.
Right? It's very
and I
interactive.
see that
They're not always on the computer alone.
Right.
They have a lot of
interaction. To have
a
balance.
lot of activities, especially for that age group to do. So we want to go for that. People want to get in contact with us.
Yes.
You can probably share the numbers.
Of course, you can contact Pandit Shiva J Maharaj at 692-4283. That number again, 692-4283, or if you're technologically advanced, you can email at Shiva, that's SHIVA, at digitalguru.tips.
Tips.
Right?
We also
All right.
Digital Guru Tips on Facebook as well.
Okay, great.
Right?
So you
Digital
can look
Guru
them
Tips
up on
Facebook, where we'll be posting all these pictures. You can see what your kids can get. But at the end of the day, the cost. Well, I don't think we can discuss cost when they call, right?
Yeah, when you call, I guess,
it's fine. But it's really, we
information.
brought the price really down because we're using our headquarters. We don't have any rent or anything to do.
Okay, good.
Right? So it's at the ICT headquarters in Aruca, 5 Rivers Aruca. We have students coming from all the way. We had people driving from Princeton
Wow,
and
just to come
South, because you don't get this anywhere.
That's true.
So they see the value and they bring their kids, people from Diego Martin, people from Grandi, San Grandi. And so they see the value and they bring their kids because it's something you won't get out there. And the children now take the skills that they have learned in our classes and they use it in the classroom.
Great. I think it's something that's so needed because I have, 2 little cousins, and they're on the July-August vacation while they're getting ready to go back to school. Right, but I saw them, just every now and then during this period, and they would always have the tablets in their hand, and I would always ask them, what are you doing? They're always on YouTube, they're always watching really fun videos, kids
more
stuff.
Entertainment.
Yeah, it's entertaining them. And I would ask, I said, can you tell me the time? And they weren't able to tell me the time. And I said, do you know you can use this to teach you how to tell time?
Exactly.
And they're looking at me like, what?
But even as simple as searching, many parents may not be aware. There's a YouTube for children. There is a Google for children. There are many other that we introduce them to. Search engines for children, which already filter out the things that you don't want them accessing.
Yes.
Right? And as the video said there for digital citizenship, the best filter is the thing between their ears, which is their brain. So we really train them on, acknowledging what is a good side, what is a bad side, when to tell your parents. When something happens, who do you go to? You have to go to your parents. Don't just close it off and pretend it never happened.
Right,
because that way your parents now will take the measures to prevent it from happening again. So we train them in all these things. Some of the things, let's highlight some of the topics.
Please.
Right? Dealing with cyberbullying, as we mentioned, very important. How to identify if your child, we even have parent sessions as well,
I think it's
included
important.
with the course, because we send home things that the parents can do with the kids. So the parents themselves learn a lot, and we have had our parents from the summer telling us how much they learned from their kids, right? So the cyberbullying, understanding privacy and respect for others' work online, very important again. We can't just go and download stuff and say, especially when you reach university level, you're going to get caught, right? You're going to get caught.
Teach them from now.
So teach them from now how to cite stuff and stuff. Then create secure passwords. Another thing, most people just use their birthdays and their whatever, easy stuff. We teach them how to create very secure passwords. Follow their digital trail, understand that everything they do online, it's their own repetition.
Yes.
It can come back to haunt you. Don't go on there, and we have instances, we can quote people who got themselves in trouble from putting up, they're expressing themselves, yes, but be careful what you say
online.
We had the case where the guy was arrested
for
saying something.
Just recently.
For just talking your mind, right? Searching the internet safely, So that's why we say they have to be, parents are not aware that there are kids
Search engines for kids.
Yeah, that's for kids. So
That's
you
good.
don't let the kids go and just Google. So, because if I'll give you a little instance of why I got so much into this. When my son was in kindergarten, he learned to spell girl, and he typed it in Google.
Oh, right.
Girls Gone Wild name now came out.
Came up, right.
So
And he was exposed to a lot of content.
a
he
lot
should
of
not
content
have
that he
been
shouldn't. Luckily, I was
exposed to.
there,
Of
and
course.
I took it. I immediately invested in an internet filter.
Great.
And on all these things. But that's where I really got interested, and those who read my passion for this topic of children and internet safety, right here on radio and TV Jaagriti, you all have been my support in being the first person to bring to Trinidad and Tobago things like Safer Internet Day. We are the pioneers for that. National Cybersecurity Month, which is coming up in October. Right, so I will speak with the CEO, and maybe we'll have some stuff for the National Cybersecurity Month in October, and Privacy Day as well. All these things, ICT experts, we brought first to Trinidad and Tobago because I really have a passion for the safety of the kids and the proper competencies.
Yes.
Don't say skills. It's not skills alone.
It's
It's not knowledge
competency,
alone.
yeah.
It's not the attitude alone. We have to be competent. You have to have all those elements all together.
Great. Well, I think we can end on that note. That's a good note to end on. We're out of time, and we have to make way for the 9 o'clock business news. But thank you so much, Pandit
Thank
Shiva,
you so much
being
for having
with
us. So once again, we'll just share the numbers.
Yes.
Those who are interested, 692-4283, or Digital Guru Tips on Facebook, or Shiva at DigitalGuru.tips. You can email me,
All right,
and you'll get more
great.
information.